Welcome back to another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys here with your host, Drew Billy. We have the beautiful two men back here, Trevor and Nate. How are we doing, fellas?
Doing great, man. Glad to be back.
Yes. Trevor?
Yeah, likewise, Drew. Good to be back, buddy.
Yeah. No, I just have to give I have to give a shout out to our sponsor of this episode, Crystal Clean Cars. We appreciate her sponsoring this episode, and hopefully it turns into a long-time partnership. But one other thing, I just threw it on here because I said, you know what, we need to get more viewers. So we have giveaways for cards. If you haven't seen those are listed on my social media page. But we got a lot of news to unpack here with the NFL, MLB, and NBA. So I don't know if you guys saw this or not, and I know I'm kind of bringing up the past with this, but the Commanders sale vote is expected on July 20th. So I look back at all the shit that got us to this point. John Gruden is still pissed off. He wants to take down the NFL, take down Roger Goodell. This whole circus, Nate, Trevor, you guys can remember back with that whole situation with John Gruden stemming to the owner of the, at the time it was the Redskins, now Commanders. And then somehow Jay-Z got mixed up in it. I mean, what do you guys think about this circus?
I'm just ready for Dan Schneider not to be a stinking owner in this league anymore, man. I can't stand this guy. Just get out of there. People have been complaining about you for so long, whether it's your stadium, whether it's the contracts that you give out, whether it's you don't keep your coaches, you draft terribly, you treat people like crap. Just it's enough. Get out. I can't wait for it to be over with. I don't want to hear another word about this guy forever. That's how I feel about it, just to be blunt about it.
Trevor, what do you think?
In a lot of respects, that guy makes the Arizona Cardinals look like a well-run organization.
Right.
But no, this is classic Dan Snyder. If he's going to go down, other people are going to go down with him. Right. That's just how it's going to go. He's a rich billionaire. He wants to keep his money. He wants to keep it. I don't know if he doesn't want to keep his notoriety anymore, but if he goes down, we're all going down, which that's obviously not going to happen. But like Nate, I can't wait to not hear his name in the news anymore.
Right.
Hopefully that's soon.
Well, and also, I don't want people to get confused here with Mark, with the Davis family that owns the Raiders, but Mark Davis, his associate. I'm not seeing anywhere that he's also leaving too. Is he still going to be an associate to the owner, or is the whole team just get shipped out after it's sold? Do you guys know for sure? Because this Mark Davis, he was a part of the bullshit as well in that organization under Schneider. Yeah. So I didn't know if there was any information in regards to that, because it seems like it was like Batman and Robin, Dan Schneider make a comment, and then Davis was right there on his back, fucking making sure that he was protected. It's just I don't know.
The Davis family's right up there with Dan Schneider for me. Just shut up.
Yeah.
I'm tired of you. Let's stand it. I mean, goodness gracious. I respect what Al Davis built, from coach to owner, and, the kids inherit an empire. Great. Right. But we have a pretty good empire in Pittsburgh that came from a different sort of outlook of a family. So I just kind of get annoyed when these Rooney folks kind of keep their mouth shut, and obviously I'm a homer. I'm going to sound like a homer here. These folks keep their mouth shut for the most part. They don't say hardly boo to anybody, and they've run a great organization for years. Meanwhile, you got the Schneider guy and the Davis family, and they're always in the news for something, and it's never usually anything good. It's always something dumb. And say what you want about Jerry Jones. I mean, I don't think he's the greatest guy either, but Jerry Jones has been doing it for a long time, and I feel like even Jerry Jones has way less complaints than those two families have had. So time to move on. I'll be glad that this won't be news past, hopefully, next Friday or whatever it is.
Yeah, we won't touch on it next week, but but no. So the other thing too, and Nate, we missed you last week. We always do. But Trevor and me and Eric were touching on this. Saquon, he's weighing on sending out the week one. He's going to hold out. What do you think? I mean, I know we've talked about it now 3 weeks in a row, but he's a fucking superstar running back. I mean, we need to talk about it. What you think he holds out, or did they make a deal?
Well, I certainly hope they make a deal, because we'll love to see him out there. He's not going to be the only one that holds out, though, at the running back position.
Right.
There is a really bad market if you're a running back right now. There's a lot of good ones on the free agent market. And then they got a few guys that are waiting contracts, whether it's Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon, I think wants a new contract. He's not going to get it either. And then, of course, the one that you mentioned as well, but with Saquon Barkley. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm hopeful they'll get something done, but I honestly think it's going to drag into the preseason for sure. They're going to wait. The Giants gave out so much money, a couple days ago, up to maybe even a week or week and a half ago. It was rumored that Daniel Jones wanted $47 million a year, and he got 40. So, and he waited for a little bit till he got his money. So, Saquon Barkley is a well-off man. He might wait till he gets his. And I can't blame him. I think he deserves another contract. I know he's had some injuries, but hopefully he gets it. I really think he's worth it for sure.
Oh, I agree. Trevor, what do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on the same side as Nate here. I think if it comes to it, he will sit out. Yeah, and he absolutely should. He deserves his bag, 100%. He's in the top tier of the running backs in the league. And just to kind of touch on some of the free agents that are out there that unfortunately might not have a job here. Zeke Elliott's still out there. Of course, Dalvin Cook rumored to go to Miami. Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, Mark Ingram and Rex Burkhead of all people. They always seem to pop up somewhere. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, and what he wanted.
Yeah. Oh, an old friend Benny Snell's out there too.
Oh, I people gave him a lot of crap in Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
but I did enjoy Benny Snell. I mean, again, the offensive line was trash. I don't think we ever got to see his full potential, but
yeah,
it is what it is. But he wants at least $13 million per year. I don't think that's. I mean, he really at one point was your whole offense. I mean, I don't know. And he stuck by your side when he first got on the team, Nate and Trevor. I mean, the Giants were hot garbage,
Yeah.
and he stuck with them. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's more. I don't know. I just, both you guys being, I'm a Penn State fan too. You guys being Penn State fans, I always want the Penn State guys to be treated well, and I hope the Giants make a deal with them. But
Yeah, one thing about the Giants, they're a terribly run organization. I'm going to put it out there. I don't think they run very well. Get rid of those 2 Super Bowls with Eli Manning that were they weren't flukes. They were very good. But if you get rid of – they literally had, the whole team was Hall of Famer or close to Hall of Fame defensive lineman, and then you got a Hall of Fame quarterback. If you look at between, those 80s and 90s Giants, before they got Eli, and then after, they've been crap. They've been crap. And other than those 2 Super Bowl years, they haven't really been very good at all. So I don't know. I think they're a weird organization for sure, and I think they've made some really poor decisions. And if they let Barkley sit out, I think that's a mistake. And also, giving Daniel Jones that much money is obviously a mistake as well.
right. Oh yeah, no, I think that would piss me off too if I was the running back. You know what I mean, Dan? I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I don't think he's up to close to money Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's just. It is what it is. But there's one thing that I was watching last night that really got me fired up. Jefferson. Oh my God, Justin Jefferson getting the best play of the year. I thought George Pickens should have got it. What do you guys think?
Well, kind of hard.
It's close. It's like. Yeah, it's 1A and 1B. Obviously, Drew, your bias is showing with Pickens, and don't get me wrong, that was an Odell-like play. But if I remember correctly, it came on like a Thursday night game against Cleveland in not very significant a situation. As spectacular a play as it was, the Jefferson play came on like a 4th and 22 with the game on the line late in the 4th quarter.
Right.
Something along those lines. I think you got to take into account the gravity of the situation and the play that was made with it. And I tell you, Justin Jefferson makes Kirk Cousins look like Tom Brady sometimes. He's that phenomenal receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And Kirk Cousins now, he's getting paid like a top tier guy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No.
Primetime Kirk, right, Nate?
Oh yeah, big time guy on Prime Network television. What has he got? 3 wins in his whole career. And that's not even an exaggeration. Look at his statistics. He what was he 0-11 or 0-10 to start his career on Monday Night Football?
Oh,
It was horrible.
Christ.
I mean, it was freaking terrible. The guy's not a big time winner. He is the most empty stat quarterback maybe of all time. I mean, it's insane. He puts up insane numbers. There's no denying it. And I won't deny his talent. But when the going gets tough, he is never there to win, ever. I don't know why. And I don't dislike him. It's just what the numbers show. I'm just saying what the numbers show, and obviously the record. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's weird to me. And I'll tell you what, no way the Vikings win 11 one-score games this year, go 11-0 in that category. There's not a freaking chance. That was one of the luckiest runs in the history of the league, no question.
Yeah, and that comeback. I still can't. Watching that game, I literally was like, my mouth was hitting the floor at just watching it just crumble. And they somehow come back and win. I was like, holy shit. I mean, it's, biggest comeback. It is, right? The biggest comeback in NFL history. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, but I've never been impressed with Kirk Cousins. I know a lot of people love him in fantasy. But if you're looking,
Yes.
If I was a Vikings fan, I don't know. I don't
Empty
think
stats. Empty stats, Drew. I don't give a crap if he wins me my fantasy league. If I'm a Vikings fan, I don't give a shit. We want to win Super Bowls, man. We gotta win playoff games. You can't do that. You can't do either one of those things. And he can't win a big game on Monday night or Sunday night or Thursday night. I mean, you pretty much got to play him. You got to hope that, or he's got to hope that he plays at Sunday at 4:05 or Sunday at 1, because then he's going to win 70% of the games.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess
for reference, guys. Sorry to interrupt you there, but
no, you're good, Trevor.
Cousins 2-10 on Monday Night Football. On Saturday football, when they have those random games and like those overseas games and stuff, he is 4-0. So put him in Saturday games at 4:05 in London.
I guess. Maybe he can be one of those franchise quarterbacks that goes over to London if they start a division over in Europe.
Yeah.
He'll love that.
Oh, yeah. Well, to your point, Nate, too, you need a defense to win playoff games.
Well, they certainly didn't draft that again. So
No, we covered that enough on draft night. We can kind of. We started this with Justin Jefferson. We talked about Kirk Cousins a little bit.
Right. Well, no, I guess just to throw that in there. Do you think, and I don't want to stay too on it, but I really have to say, and I'm going to bash Kirk a little bit here, I don't think he's a quarterback that can make wide receivers better. I think the wide receiver has to be pretty top tier. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben, fucking Montana. Well, Montana had Jerry Rice, but like the greats, they usually molded their wide receivers to the caliber they wanted. Kirk needs that fucking guy, and if he doesn't have it, I don't think he gets the stats that he has.
Right. I agree.
Correct. Yeah.
But all right, what else do we got here, fellas? Okay. Oh yeah, I want to touch on this because I know Nate's high on him. Sean Payton coming in. The article I read. And people, when I take stuff, I don't take the whole article. I take pieces out, and then we see what's going on. But they're calling him the rookie coach of the league this year, which he's not the rookie. He's already coached in the NFL. But I guess they're saying with the bullshit he has to deal with Russell Wilson, he's basically I don't know. What do you think, Nate? Do you think it's going to be a successful year in Denver, or do you think it's going to take a year to kind of get back to where he was as the Saints coach?
Well, define success, because I don't know if they could get much worse than last year.
500.
Yeah. Oh, I think they'll be better than that.
Okay.
I do. I don't think the Raiders will be very good. I really don't think that the Chargers are gotten any better. They gave Eckler money, and they got receivers that get hurt all the freaking time. Mike Williams is in and out of the lineup all the time. Keenan Allen's in and out of the lineup all the time. Although I saw that the rookie wide receiver out of TCU, what is it, Quentin Williams, I believe, or Quentin Williams from TCU, he's going to be their third guy. and Joshua Palmer is going to be their fourth guy.
Right.
So the offense, I think, is going to be good. I don't know what it is about the Los Angeles Chargers. They're always hurt and they always choke. And I think they're going to have a really tough schedule. I really, really like Denver to be one of the last teams in the playoffs. I really do. I think that Jerry Jeudy's going to be an insanely productive receiver this year if he stays healthy. I think Russell Wilson will have a turnaround year. And Sean Payton is a great coach. He'll scheme so much better than Hackett could ever imagine scheming. That guy was a moron. And defensively, I know that Denver's lost some players.
Right.
But going to Denver is a different ballgame, and they no matter what and no matter who's in there, they always seem to have a good defense. I don't understand it. So I think they'll be much improved. And Sean Payton's been sitting on his butt for about 2 years now. He's probably schemed and schemed and schemed, and he's got stuff that people aren't ready for. He's one of the best offensive coaches, in the league, and he's proven that for years. He took a Saints team in franchise that was horrible, and they had success for the first time really ever, So I think they'll be much improved. I really, really am high on an improved season from Russell Wilson, and Sean Payton will be a huge caveat for that for sure.
Trevor, what do you think?
Yeah, Russell Wilson is definitely a prime candidate for most improved player of the year. In his last couple of games last year, when Hackett was gone and they actually let Russ do Russ things, they lost 27-24 against a Kansas City team. He had 3 total touchdowns in that game. And in the following week against the Chargers, he had 3 touchdowns and 283 passing yards in that game. So what do you think is going to happen with Sean Payton? He's not going to try and fit a player to the mold of the offense. He's going to fit the mold of the offense to the player because Sean Payton is a smart effing coach. Right. He's that good. And I think Denver, yeah, I think they could sneak in a wild card spot. I'd say for my wild cards, I'd probably have the Steelers, obviously, right? Yeah. Steelers, Jets, and the Broncos. Those are my 3 picks right there.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see here. But the other thing I wanted to touch on, too, the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2024, there's too many fucking guys for me to name off, no offense to these wonderful gentlemen that got to this point. One notable guy, though, the kicker for the Steelers, and I think – no, actually not the kicker. Was it Ken Anderson for the Steelers, or was it Gary?
Gary.
Okay, I apologize. Scratch that shit. Sorry. All right. Anyways, there's some other notable names on here that I really think I don't know. Robert Kraft's on here. Nate, how do you feel about that? I really put you on the spot right there, but
he's done. I'll say this.
Okay.
Robert Kraft has built a dynasty. Whether it was all wonderfully done and ethically done is for another discussion.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this, the economic impact that Robert Kraft has had on Boston and Foxborough greater area will be felt for generations to come. I was just up there, 2 weeks ago. Foxborough, Mass, I don't think would even hardly be what it is if it wasn't for the Patriots. Mm-hmm. Pretty much every single thing on there has Patriots on it, whether it's like the shopping mall connected to it, the plazas up there, right, the stadium. I mean, there's plenty more too. I'll say that he's very deserving of the economic impact that he's helped make and the dynasty that he helped create. And I don't know who their scouts were that got Brady, but they should be inducted with him because that was probably the greatest pick of NFL history that nobody knew about. Like it's easy to go pick Trevor Lawrence and it's easy to go pick, all these really high picks.
Right.
For some reason, scouts didn't love Brady. I don't understand it,
right,
just because of the way his college career was. But they saw something in that kid, and here he was, pick 199, and he's the GOAT. And nobody ever would have figured that out. So I don't know if it's luck or their scouts. It wasn't Kraft that got him, but certainly he's used Tom Brady and company to build an empire and a dynasty. So he deserves credit, but ethically, I think there's some other folks that maybe are a little bit more model citizens. I'll just say it that way.
Yeah. Trevor deserving or?
I mean, there's guys that are less of model citizens as well. We just kind of
You're right.
discussed two of
You're
them.
right.
So,
Certainly right.
I mean, we all knew it was coming. Anybody associated with the Patriots dynasty, they're going to be lauded and applauded in the New England area. And I like that you touched on the economic impact, Nate, because that often gets lost in translation. How much the economy and society around these towns is dependent on the performance of the football team. Whether that should be the case is a socioeconomic debate that we're not going to have on this show. But,
Sure.
but it's just absolutely insane to see what he's done with that team. And I know that fact just by the fact that they've driven me nuts for my entire 20-plus year fandom of the Steelers. So if it weren't for Tom Brady, I'm just saying Ben would probably have 4 or 5 Super Bowls.
Oh, I agree. No, and the other person, on the Steelers topic here it really warmed my heart seeing his name on here. Art Rooney Jr. is also up for. I think we're all Steeler fans here. I think he's well deserved to be, inducted here. I don't think there's any other Steelers on here. I'm trying to see other notable guys. Well, Mike Holmgren, coached the Packers and the Seahawks. I think he's well deserving as well. But we'll wait and see. I mean, I don't know. There's a couple guys on here, Nate, that I've never seen their names in my entire life. So I don't know. That's what I want to one day sit down and look back at the history, like in the 20s and 30s. There's some really good athletes, but they're just not talked about because it's like, Jesus Christ, 100 years ago. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a lot of records from back then that
right.
About, so.
Yeah, and bigger than that, there's a lot of executives and coaches and personalities that go in.
Right.
The one that bothers me, and do I think he's deserving? Probably. But Joe Buck is in his 50s and he's got in before some of these coaches and other folks got in. Like, really? I'm sorry, but you're still going, buddy. You're still in your prime. You're only 50-something odd years old. You got another 15 years that you should be announcing at a pretty high level, if not more.
Right.
So, the fact that Joe Buck was an NFL Hall of Famer before Mike Holmgren, Art Rooney Jr., and Robert Kraft, that's weird. That's so weird.
Even, and I'm not being biased here, but his card was up for a giveaway, a month ago. Hines Ward, how in the hell is he not in the Hall of Fame yet? I really don't understand. What do you think it is? He has the stats. He has the Super Bowl. I'm not really sure how the hell did Joe Buck get in there before Hines Ward. I mean, no offense. I mean, what the hell? I don't know. I mean, they changed the rules for blocking for receivers because of Hines. I mean,
yes.
I don't know. Nate, what do you think it is? Why is he not?
I think he's gonna have a hard time getting in forever. And I think Julian Edelman's the same situation. They're big time performers. But there's so many good players. It's really difficult. And they were very, very borderline. I do think that those are the kind of players that'll get in more if they do get in kind of as legends.
Okay.
I think they're both phenomenal. I mean, they're two of the best receivers that I can remember.
Right.
And certainly Edelman kind of fits it because his postseason performances were so phenomenal.
Right.
He wasn't that great of a receiver in the regular season for very long. He was a great one for a few years, but Hines had a much better regular season career than Julian Edelman did for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I think those guys are going to be difficult to get in, and at least it's not as difficult as freaking the Major League Baseball to get in the Hall of Fame. Because it's gracious, we wouldn't even be having this conversation because they wouldn't get in for sure. We would know that from when they retired. They'd have to play another 5 years to get the stats at the same level, which is impossible. It'd be in their mid 40s. But yeah, I'm just thankful the NFL put some people in, and they don't have classes of 0.
Right.
The NFL minimum, I believe Trevor and I have discussed, is 4.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take 4.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball. Yeah. I think there's obviously about half the baseball players as there are football players on a team per average. Now the MLB's got a longer history, but still, it shouldn't the MLB by that quick math be about 2 guys per year minimum?
Right.
I don't know. That ticks me off beyond belief.
I mean, it's just kind of upsetting. I mean, he was a high draft pick in the round. He did not his whole NFL. I think some of college, or I can't. I don't want to quote me on this, but he did not have an ACL, and I believe in his right leg. So I mean, that also plays a factor as well. I mean, I don't know, Nate. I mean, it's just.
I think the biggest thing, Hines Ward barely made the Steelers his first 3 years in the league.
That's
So if those 3 years he'd have been productive, there's no question he's in.
Okay.
He missed 3. He didn't miss 3 years, but his first 3 years were, barely hanging around. So he's barely making the team. His special teams, one of the last receivers on the team that got reps. That changed the Hall of Fame. If he has 1 or 2 good years there, he's probably in by now. But
Just real quick before we go on to free agents, Ben going to get in 3 years from now? Because he'll be up 5 years.
You better.
Okay. All right. Because I'm going. I already told people.
Better. If he's not a first ballot, it's because of the media folks and some of the negative press that he's had with whether he's done it or not. I don't know. I like to think he didn't, but there's been a lot of situations that seem like it may have been possible. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say one or the other, but that would be the one thing I think that would keep him out for a year or two potentially. And that's what happened with Terrell Owens. Now Terrell Owens is a different level, I think, although T.O. never really broke the law. He just had such interesting characteristics, I guess. So hopefully it's not as long as T.O., and hopefully Ben will go to his ceremony unlike T.O. did. So
Right.
Ben had a little bit better of a relationship with the media than T.O. did.
Yeah, that's definitely true as well.
So, he should get in first ballot. If all that alleged stuff keeps him out, I might throw a brick through a wall or through a window or, I won't be too happy. I'll just say that much. But I don't see any reason why he doesn't get in first ballot.
It would be upsetting because it would be inconsistent with some of the folks that got in first ballot with some of the situations that they've been in their lives. So that would kind of be the problem with it for sure.
Right. No, but switching over to free agents, Trevor touched on some of them. Dalvin Cook still out there. Zeke Elliott's still out there. You see these guys getting picked up. I mean, Fournette, he's out. I didn't know he was still out there. I don't think Fournette. I think he's at the end of his road. Would you agree or no?
I think Fournette's got 1 or 2 years left.
Okay.
But I think he's going to be a guy that does the Le'Veon Bell circle the NFL.
Okay.
I mean, Bell was with the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Jets, other teams maybe, the squads. And it ticked me off because these teams would pick him up and they'd be like, oh, yeah, we're going to implement him right away. And then they'd pick him up on my fantasy team and they'd sit there. It's like, well, that was stupid of me. Why did I waste my freaking breath doing that? Guys have been good since he left Pittsburgh. But I think Fournette's in that situation. And here's the thing about the NFL right now with these running backs. They're going to keep 4 and 5 of them on their roster because it's very possible that 2 or 3 of them are hurt at a time.
Right.
With a 17-game season, there's one extra game that they have to, prepare for and stuff. And thankfully they adjusted this quarterback rule and stuff as well. So that's going to help in that regard. But no, a lot of these running back rooms is carousel, and they got 3 and 4 guys that can do the job. And I think that a lot of these guys are just going to be late signees or mid-season signees, and they're going to come in and replace hurt guys, spot start, maybe be the third guy in a rotation. So some of those guys will get signed, but it's not going to be big money. I really don't think for many of them. I think that's past for sure.
Okay. And then DeAndre Hopkins. I'm still shocked he's out there. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm an idiot, but I would say Steelers. You got some money. We don't need him though. But that would be kind of him and Pickens, Deontay. I mean, that would be pretty badass. I'm not going to lie. But where do you think he ends up? I'm really shocked that there has not been. Wait, hold on a second though. Didn't he meet with the team? Did he meet with the Patriots?
Yep.
Do you think he ends up on the Patriots?
Mm-hmm.
Or okay, all right.
I don't know. The Bills really want him, but they don't want to spend any money on him.
No,
They love him, but they won't spend a cent on him.
Right.
Like, really? You're going to let potentially your window close and not sign this guy who still might have 1 or 2 or 3 more years in his prime?
right.
Really?
Right.
I mean, your defense got worse. You're going to have to score more points. You might as well freaking sign him.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I don't think teams are not in a hurry. They're really not. You know, they might sign him 1 week, 2 weeks into preseason still, and these guys can get themselves ready. And I don't know if you guys agree with this, but week 1 in the NFL with these 3 preseason games, it's always ugly. Like it's not smooth. It
Yes.
takes teams a little bit. There's a few teams that click, but I don't know if it's sometimes the offense clicks or the defense didn't click. So I don't know. I think that the first week of the NFL or 2 sometimes can be kind of ugly. Not a lot of, teams have figured it out yet. And there's injuries and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. I don't think these teams are in a hurry. I think we could see some of these guys get signed in August, like that late.
Mhm.
This might be bold, but I think the first game last season against the Bengals, I think the Steelers, that was the best I've ever seen the Steelers defense on week 1. In my opinion, I don't know. I can't think back to, but I mean, they were on fucking point. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't miss a step.
But how much of that was Joe Burrow having the worst game of his life?
Well, you got to
look at that too a little bit.
Yeah, Joe was not ready week 1.
No.
Joe was, I think, hungover from the summer. And the Barbados, having a little sangrias and a little pina colada.
Right.
But, anyways. But so we got to touch on this. I know Nate is a huge fan of him. LeBron James is kind of be coming back for his 21st season. How do we feel? Are we excited about this or what?
Well, certainly anytime you can have the GOAT or arguably the GOAT on your team, you got to be freaking excited.
Right.
All I know is if he doesn't come back to the Lakers, we're in some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if he's 39 or going to be 39. He gives you a chance to win every time he steps on the floor. I just hope his foot heals up. There's no denying he's going to get his 20 points, 25 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds about. And he's going to have a pretty good win share mark as long as he can stay healthy. And they built the guys around him. I just hope Gabe Vincent can shoot, and I hope D'Angelo Russell works on his off-the-ball movement and catch and shoot because we got him back. And Jackson Hayes is a good signee to pair with Davis.
Right.
Could be a capable spot starter and someone that they can play with Davis as well, so Davis can step out and hopefully hit shots because he hasn't hit jump shots in 3 years, but hopefully he can start to do that again and they can let Hayes inside a little bit more. So, but I know I'm happy as hell that the GOAT's back. I think he's the greatest ever. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. You never know how the Lakers are going to be. It's always a question mark. Had some really good success, some really bad success. There are some really bad seasons, I should say. So hopefully this will be a chance for us to win a title and get his 5th and get another one back to LA. But I'm happy. I think he's going to wait till his son's playing, and that's probably when he'll call it. Once he'll play a year with him or maybe 2 if his body holds up, and then that's probably it for him, I think.
Trevor, what do you think, bud?
Well, I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah, I understand that.
I know that much. But in all honesty, we're watching one of the 2 best to ever do it. I know, in you guys' opinion, the best to ever do it. We have different opinions on that. But
right.
So, we still get the privilege of watching one of the GOATs of basketball. And I'm all for that. I don't know how many Laker games I'll catch, but toward the end of the season, I'll probably watch them a little more and more because you never know when it's going to be the last time LeBron's going to play. Like you said, Nate, he's probably going to wait till his kid gets up there. But we'll see who he gets drafted by, and then LeBron will request a trade specifically to that team.
It might not even have to be a trade. I think he's on a 1-year contract. So
okay. Got you.
And the thing about LeBron is he's a billionaire, so he can theoretically take the veteran minimum from a team.
Yeah.
And they can literally, like, if Bronny goes anywhere, they get LeBron James on a veteran min, and then they just like piece together the roster. They could theoretically have a chance to win, and they could do it quick. I don't know if LeBron will take veteran min, but he very well could if he wants to try to win with his kid in the 1 year or 2 years that they play. I mean, it's very possible. I don't know what will happen, but he doesn't need the money. He can, the veteran min now is like 2.5 to 3 mil. That's more than most people make in their lives, and he's got that many times over. And his son has that many times over already too.
Right.
His NIL is worth probably 8 to 10 mil.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He hasn't even stepped on the floor for USC for a sanctioned game yet, sanctioned practice even. So, but yeah, glad the GOAT's back and hopefully win a ship, man. This is probably our last crack at it unless Bronny goes to the Lakers. And if that happened, I'm kind of scared because I don't think that'll go well. I think it's too much pressure on those guys.
Yeah. Nate, I will tell you this. This is selfish. This is very fucking selfish. And I might piss off a lot of Lakers fans. I hope LeBron James does not get a 5th title because I don't want him to tie Kobe. I don't. I no offense to Laker Nation, but I'm just saying I'm okay if he retires and Bronny comes and they win a championship. That's fine, but I don't want LeBron to tie. Yeah, see, I'm fucked up like that. But anyways, just to go on talking about Kobe, I'm an avid player, and I think a lot of people out there know this. 2K24, they released the cover of the game this year, and yours truly will begin that $100 version. We need all the goddamn Kobe gear we can get. But did you guys think that was going to actually happen? Because 24, or did you think it was going to be somebody else? Trevor, I think you thought Embiid, but
No. Even I didn't think that. As much of a homer as I am. Well, right. I'm a homer in the sense that I bash my own team more than anybody.
I know.
Because they're my team, no one else bashes them, right?
I don't bash them. No.
No, you don't. Neither does Nate. I bash them for you guys. But anyway. Yeah, it's one of the easiest decisions 2K's ever had to make, in my opinion. 24, Kobe, it makes all the sense in the world. They're going to make zillions and zillions of dollars off of that game, and I guess 100 of that's going to be from you, Drew. I don't know how much of that will be from me. I'm definitely going to get the game. I know that. I'm going to probably get that and probably get the Madden game, but that's a kind of a side note. But, oh, yeah. We'll play, Drew.
Yeah. Nate, you got a system? This is a tangent real quick.
Nope. I haven't had a system since I was 18. I'm
starting to GoFundMe for you to get a PS5.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Oh, yes, I am.
I don't even know if I know how to set it up anymore, dude.
I drive the area and set that up for you. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I got rid of it.
It sets itself up. You're fine.
Yeah. Got rid of it when I went to college. And
the best decision you ever made.
Yeah. Instead, I got I just work instead, I don't know if my stress relief is just writing about sports instead of playing video games and screaming at my television that my player screwed up because he didn't do what I wanted him to do. So if I can yell at anybody for screwing up, I just yell at myself and I don't get to yell at a player on a screen anymore. And if I do, it's the actual real life human being. I don't tweet at them, but what they don't know won't hurt them. Now, if you tweet at them, I don't agree with that. People that tweet at those guys, I don't like that very much. I don't like that. It's one thing for me to be in my house and scream my head off about it, and Trevor knows that I do it. Mm-hmm. But I will never tweet at those guys because I know that they're trying stuff. And, the realist in me understands that. But still, what they don't know that if I scream at them on my own television and it stays between me and the television and maybe a couple close friends that weren't going to snitch on me, then I don't think it's no harm, no foul then.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and then just the other things too, free agent wise, speaking of the 76ers, Trevor, I don't know if you saw this is 4 days ago. It's whatever. It was reported by Woj. 76ers have matched restricted free agent forward Paul Reed's 3-year, $23 million offer sheet with the Utah Jazz and will retain them. How do you feel about that? I'm not really. I'm going to be. Really, I'm going to sound stupid here. I have no idea who the hell Paul Reed is. He good? I'm not.
He's very good. He's a very good reserve player, I will say. When we need to throw him in the rotation, we need to get Embiid some rest. He's a solid defender, solid rebounder. He can run the floor. And most importantly, he pretty much stays in the post, which is what Embiid should do most of the time. Wow. I'll yell that till Embiid retires. But But yeah, no, Paul Reed, very happy with that signing. Would you say it was 3 years? How many $1 million?
23.
23?
Yeah.
I'm very okay with that. Okay. I'm very okay with that. As long as it wasn't another Tobias Harris deal, my heart can take that.
And they also picked up Montrezl Harrell for another 1-year deal. You know, here's an interesting thing, Nate. And I got to just touch on this, not to go back to the Lakers, but why the hell did we ever let him go? I really like how scrappy he is. I enjoy him. I
didn't have a good year.
Yeah.
Didn't have a good year for us. Him and Schroeder were, supposed to be, picking up the slack that was lost with various players who had departed, and they just didn't live quite up to it. Montrezl Harrell was coming off an incredible year, and so was Dennis Schroeder. We signed him, and they just didn't live up to it, unfortunately. Now we got Schroeder back, and he had a good year this year, and then he got a bigger deal elsewhere again. But both great players, but I'll tell you what, man, it's freaking hard to play in Los Angeles. It's hard to play with LeBron. It's hard to play with that media. I mean, goodness gracious, ESPN covers the Lakers 24/7 almost. It's crazy. I mean, right now there's nothing going on, and you could probably watch SportsCenter and there'd be something about the Lakers on there. It's like, why?
Right.
It's weird.
And the other thing too is and this is going back, and we should have touched on it last week, but Mo Bamba, I'm really kind of pissed off. I mean, Trevor should be happy, but I'm pissed off that the Lakers let him go to the 76ers. You know what I mean?
No, they can have him.
You think so? Okay.
I think he's going to be out of the league in 2 years.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He stinks.
Oh, God.
He's a lottery pick, and he never lived up to the hype.
Right.
Everybody was so amazed by his cone drill. It's like one of the second fastest cone drills ever. It's like, well, being good at cone drill doesn't mean you're good. I'm sorry. Like, holy crap. I don't care if you got an 8-foot wingspan. You got to stay on the floor, and you got to be productive. Right. And he's not either of those things.
Right.
He's not getting it done. Yeah. And I like Mo Bamba. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's a decent player, but I really don't think he's going to have a spot in the NBA pretty soon. I think the CBA is going to come and knock and go make your money and go be a stud over there. Right. There have been some very good players over there. Greg Oden went over there, had an amazing career. Stephon Marbury, his time in the NBA ran thin, and he went over there, and he's like an icon. So I don't know. I could really see Mo Bamba being out of the league quick. I really could. And, people are going to put bust on him, but I don't know if you can say bust if you play in the league for like 6 or 8 years. Are you a bust if you stick around that long? I don't care if you're not as productive as what they say. Are you a bust? No, I think he just didn't live up to the hype. And bust is like very few players. Like it's a term that gets tossed around too much. Like, Jamarcus Russell probably bust, unfortunately. I think
Michael Beasley.
Yeah. Michael Beasley probably bust. But he played many years though.
I know.
He was like all rookie his first year. And he played more than a decade in the league. So like, is he a bust? Probably not. I just think he didn't live up to the hype. I think there's a difference, and I don't think it's ever defined well, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, he was just smoking a bong in the fucking locker room. That was the issue.
No, sure. I don't advocate for that, but if you kind of know what Michael Beasley's been through in his life, maybe that some people would cut him some slack.
I know. And that's the whole thing that followed him, though. You know what I mean? It's like smoking. And we touched on it, and I don't want to go back to it and stay on it too long, but Ricky Williams, there's a lot of athletes that they were on the grass and they just picked on them. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, what their careers, what the league could have been better, or in their careers could have been better if you just let them the hell alone. You know what I mean? I mean, these guys are literally getting the shit beat out of them every week, or, NBA, Nate, you're going to have to help me with this. How many days, in a row do they have games? I mean,
not as much anymore. I think they used to be able to play 3 and 4 games in as many days, but they have very few back-to-backs anymore. I think
that's what I thought.
They may have a few, but they've really reduced it. They've spread the season longer.
Right.
So they've been pretty good in that regard. But yeah, it used to be pretty bad even 5 to 10 years ago.
Right. Right. So, I mean, when he was in there, I mean, yeah, let the guy have some grass. His fucking knees are killing him. I mean,
yeah. Here's the other part about it too, you guys. It's very inconsistent who they pick on. Because like Percy Harvin literally openly admitted every single game he would smoke pot before the game, and he never got suspended. So either they just wiped his under the rug, or he was the best avoider of drug tests in the history of the NFL. And Josh Gordon was the worst at hiding it in the history of the NFL. Right. So I don't know. It just stinks that like it ruined those guys' careers and reputation, and now it's not even a banned substance anymore. So that just sucks. Right. You know what I mean? That's going to bother me for Ricky Williams and Josh Gordon and a few other guys. Now they shouldn't probably have what they, have had, the amount or whatever. There's probably other things with it, but it's just so inconsistent. It's unfortunate.
Right. No. And the other guy that got waived by the Orlando Magic, Bol. I've been high on him. I'll tell you right now, I pissed off a lot of people on NBA. Trevor, if we ever play, you'll see this. I love using his dad, Manute.
Yeah.
His stamina is worse than when Marc Gasol was on the Lakers, but goddamn it, I love playing with him. I mean, I really. But you think Bol's done? He's going overseas. I always had high hopes for him. I don't think he's ever been given. I mean, on the Nuggets, he was given a chance a little bit, but ever since then, he's kind of been out of the spotlight. Nate, is that?
Magic gave him a chance, and he was relatively efficient with his time. Just think the Magic are going in a different direction.
Okay.
Kind of one of their expendable guys off the bench. Right. I think he'll stick around a little bit, but I think he will be one too that will go overseas. Right. I don't know what you get defensively out of him. Kind of slow. He's so long that he can be slow.
It's lanky,
but he plays at his own tempo almost. Yep. But he's 7'3", so like unless you're a point guard and you play at your own speed like Kyle Lowry does or Chris Paul sometimes now, who gives a crap? Because you're not ball dominant. And the only time you're ball dominant is if you're getting blown out.
Right.
Which is when they would throw him in. And then they go, oh my gosh, Bol, 15 points off the bench on 8 of 8 shooting. Or 6 of 6 shooting. He'd have 6 dunks and nobody guard him. It's like, whoop-de-doo. What a bunch of garbage. I mean, seriously, I have nothing against Bol. I hope he works out. I like the kid. He's had bad luck. It's in his DNA to be good, but like he plays at his own speed, and it's really hard if you're a big guy to kind of play at your own speed. And unless you're like that prototypical like bang down low big guy, well, he's not that. The dude's too thin to do that. He'll break in half. So he just doesn't fit. He doesn't fit. He can't shoot like Wemby. He can't block shots like Wemby. He's not as durable as Wemby. He's had all kinds of injuries. So I think he'll stick around, but I don't think he's going to pan out to the full extent.
I hope when Bol goes overseas, he takes Mo Bamba with him.
Right.
Please,
they're kind of the same category.
I mean, the best thing about Mo Bamba, in my opinion, is the song by Sheck West.
Right.
So, hey, don't get me wrong, that gets me pumped up at Penn State games and just in general.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Going back to the Mo Bamba signing, that's the one I'm least excited about. I'm more excited about the Pat Bev signing than that one.
Yeah. Well, you should be.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah. No, when that song comes on, liquor turns to water. So I kind of got to stay the hell away from that song because when I hear the beat and then the chorus, it's like, okay, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get sloshed. Anyways, other things here, folks. One more thing, and then we'll switch over to MLB, and we'll have Nate and Trevor take over here. Damian Lillard, where the hell's he going? I mean, all summer long now, it's been okay. We don't know. He might be going to LA. He might be going where the hell's he going? I mean, where do you guys think?
He's going back to Oakland, California, or he's going to the Miami Heat because he's not going to be a Trailblazer anymore. I'll tell you that.
The Warriors. Now that would be
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying on his couch, his mother's couch.
Okay.
Not the Warriors. No, they don't even play in Oakland anymore. They play in Fran.
I know.
Yeah.
Right?
No, he's going back to his mother's couch in Oakland to sit there, or he's going to Miami. He's made it vocal from his camp. He doesn't want to go anywhere but Miami. Right. Trade him there, or else I will sit
and rap
and sit on my mother's couch in Oakland.
He can rap.
And he's actually one of the few guys that's a good athlete and a good rapper. He's actually not half bad.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but just trade him to Miami, will you? I'm sick of this.
Yeah.
Trade him. The Trailblazers are going to do nothing with Lillard and nothing without him.
Right.
I know he's that good, but the best they can do is maybe squeak in the play-in. And he would have to play every game. He'd have to score 30 points a night. And he would have to have, like, Rookie of the Year season with Scoot. They'd have to have Nurkic stay healthy for once in his freaking life for more than 3 weeks in a row. It's not happening. Just get rid of him, rebuild, and get it over with. But they're going to sit and wait because why wouldn't they? That's what Philly did with Ben Simmons. They're like, we're waiting until the asking price is right. We're waiting. And these teams will just wait. And I understand it's July, so maybe you do wait. So I don't know. Just get him there already. Like, just make sure he's going there because I don't think he's changed his mind. He's got his mind made up on Miami, and it'd be interesting to see what they do because Lowry's a good point guard.
Right.
But when you have a chance to get Dame, I mean here's the thing, speeds up your tempo too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they'll let Lowry run the second unit and kind of play a slower pace with the second unit with all the shooters around.
Right.
But we'll see what they do. I'd be interesting to see him somewhere else other than Portland, though.
Right. I mean, he comes with a black.
Sorry to interrupt you, Drew. There.
No, you go, Trevor.
Yeah, I kind of looked away from the camera there and kind of drooped my head. You said those two magic words, Nate.
What?
You said those two magic words. Ben Simmons. Oh. You just ruined the rest of my night. It's done. This night's done. I'm just gonna have a horrible evening. Anyway,
he's off your chest though, so that's good.
Go to church.
I know it's bad memories. Bad memories. That's the thing. I focused on the past too much. I ought to not do that, but I got to reset my brain for that. But anyway, to talk about Dame, stay kind of on topic here. I think I said it on this program either last week or the week before. I think they're going to wait till mid-season to trade Dame. The Trailblazers just seem like an organization. They're just going to drag it out. They're just going to drag it out instead of trying to force something, and then it's going to come to a head. And eventually Dame will be on the Heat.
Okay. Well, I got to say this. He comes with a black eye, 4 years and north of $200 million left on his contract. Fuck. I mean, how do you think that's going to be played out there?
Well, he'll like living in Miami a heck of a lot more than living in Portland. I'll tell you that. He'll get a little bit more of that $200 million.
Oh yeah.
No income tax down there.
Right.
He'll be loving life.
You think the Heat are going to pick that contract up?
Oh, heck yeah. Okay. He's one of the best players in the league. You have to.
Pat Riley will find a way. Pat Riley works absolute magic.
And here's the thing. If they're going to get him, they're trading Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, I'd imagine. So that's
a given.
$200 million right there. You just restructured your roster. You got one player instead of two.
Right.
So, I'll tell you this. The Heat have no problem with depth. They plug in the goofiest players in the world, and they work out.
Yes.
I mean, Duncan Robinson's one of them. Yes. Where the crap did he come from? I know. I mean, goodness gracious, he was a Division III guy, and then he went to Michigan, and he played well. But he's slower than molasses, can't play defense, but he works out. And then Gabe Vincent works out, and Max Strus stinking works out. I was like, Where do you get these guys? Kevin Love, who can't even stinking walk, works out. It's like Cody Zeller, who doesn't even have any hair anymore on his head, works out for them. It's stupid.
Holy shit. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm just happy.
It is true.
I'm just happy we're not going to see Haslam on the bench this season. He's taking up a fucking roster spot. Nate,
there's $3 million to give the Dame right there. Thanks. Thanks, UD.
A month and a half ago, we talked about it in our episode. I was just like, dude, I looked at it because I think it's when the whole thing with Ja was coming up. And I was like, oh, you kind of want that guy as a mentor. But then you kind of put it in my eyes like, this guy's taking a roster spot as someone that could help. And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. I mean, it's a fucking teeter-totter. I don't know. Yeah.
Rarely the 14th guy or 15th guy plays, but.
Right. I mean, how much advice? I'd rather hear advice from Jimmy Butler than Udonis Haslem. I'm no disrespect to Haslem, but I mean, Butler's kind of had a more productive, higher caliber career. You know what I mean? And he's an older guy. What? I think Jimmy's in his 30s.
He's in his 30s.
Yeah. So you didn't need to have him back for another season. I think they just wanted to do some charity with him. I don't know.
It's fine to have him around, but the dude should be a coach or a consultant.
Yeah.
You could do the same thing you were doing, and you don't have to practice. You really want to go practice at 42? I mean, good for you, man. Yeah. Good for you if you love it that much. But to sit on the bench for 8 years and collect that when you could have coached the whole freaking time.
Right.
I will say this. You make a whole heck of a lot more being a player than you do a coach on the average, in the NBA, especially unless you're the head coach. But he wasn't going to be head coach right away.
No.
So, and do I blame him for it? Heck no. I'd keep taking the $3 million. Holy crap. He made $40 million or something in the last 8 years or more. In his whole career, he probably made double that, $80 million or something.
Yeah, he's up around.
He made a lot of money. Yeah. So, I'd keep signing too.
Right.
I'd sign until they say, all right, man, that's it. You're too old. The rocking chair actually needs to come out now.
Yeah. I think they plug him in probably player development or something. He's going to be involved, Nate.
He should be.
Yeah.
Good guy. He's a constant, professional.
Yes.
He had some productive years, 3 titles,
Yep.
spot starter, undrafted guy. I mean, he's been through it all, man. I mean, there's not much UD hasn't seen. He's a good guy, good mentor, but
get him the hell out of there.
Man, it's about time. It's about time. I got respect for him, but geez.
Right. But all right, here, I'm going to switch over. You guys go ahead and take over MLB. Talk about whatever the hell you want, boys. Go ahead.
Trevor, I feel like I've talked so much, so you go ahead, dude.
You're sitting there. I'm trying to get you going, Trevor. What the hell's going on?
You're good. I'm just a fly on the wall here. I'm enjoying the rants. I'm enjoying the fun.
All right.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
We love you.
Love you guys too. Thank you. So recent Shohei Ohtani news, the Yankees are now emerging as the favorite to try and go get him. And I hate to say it, you might be right.
You
might be right.
Pinstripe,
yeah. He might be wearing the pinstripe. He might be wearing the pinstripes. What that package is going to include from the Yankees, I'm not sure. It'll probably include some sort of pitching. Clay Holmes comes to mind. He's having a great season. He's a prime trade candidate right now. The Angels, they've needed pitching for about 20 years now. So, but yeah, that's kind of the way things are going to fall. And I think we'll know within a couple weeks what's really going to happen with Ohtani. It depends what happens, how the Angels are doing. If they somehow come out of this with Trout being hurt and they start winning, maybe he will become a free agent. Maybe he'll stick around, try and make a run at the playoffs, but we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens there. Or of course the Yankees, they might just go snipe him. They have obviously the power to do that. And in the MLB, everything starts and ends with those pinstripes. I hate to say it, but it's the way it is. What else do I got here? Okay, here we go. So the MLB season is starting on March 20th the next year when the Dodgers take on the Padres in a game over in South Korea. I think I've brought that up on this program a couple times before.
Okay.
But then all 30 teams are slated to play on March 28th. So we get a nice early start to the MLB season.
Oh, wow.
And for reference, the Pirates play the Marlins. So hopefully we can go get a win in Miami. That'd be very nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Miami's good these days.
Miami is pretty good these days, but Miami's like the Mariners. They have a winning season one time, they have a losing season the next. So I don't know. That could happen too. But yeah, the MLB's making like the NFL here. They're starting to have some global games. I guess the U.S. market is virtually tapped out. They're starting to move international. They got games outside the U.S. and Canada. Starting actually in April, on April 27th and 28th in Mexico City. And then the Mets play the Phillies June 8th and 9th in London. And then this is something that they really haven't done before. The Cardinals and Giants, they are going to play a game at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, Alabama on June 20th in a tribute to the Negro League and Willie Mays, also known as, this is probably my favorite baseball nickname, the Say Hey Kid. I love that nickname.
Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, I love it. The MLB keeps expanding these types of games that they have. I know they always have that Field of Dreams thing. They got the Stand Up to Cancer. They got, all kinds of stuff. Pride Night, just raising awareness for all these causes that need it. And I'm entirely here for it. I love it.
Yep.
And of course, the All-Star game is going to be played in Arlington, Texas next season. And then the regular season is actually going to end on September 29th. So we'll get a nice early start to those playoffs and get baseball over with sooner so we can focus on football more next year. Yeah. That's the idea. Well, here's the thing. It's a blessing and a curse that we're Pirates fans. It's a blessing because they don't make the playoffs. We don't have to worry about them contending, right?
Right.
And then we get to watch more football. And
you guys still watch
I'm
baseball
all here
games,
for that.
though, right?
Huh?
You still watch other games, though. You know what I mean? Like
here and there, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's a big marquee pitching matchup or something like that, yeah, I'll watch it. I'll catch the World Series for sure. But primarily, if I'm not like emotionally invested in it, I'll just kind of have it on in the background and whatnot.
Oh, boy.
And I'll have the Steeler game on the big TV. So that's kind of how I do things.
Yeah.
And then I kind of want the ending segment here because I have 7 headlines that I want you guys' opinions on, and we are going to just kind of go rapid fire through them. But I want to do that at the end. I'll let Nate do his thing first.
Well, Trevor and I were together this morning.
Oh,
We went to a concert last evening, Post Malone.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
We spoke about this morning, and also yesterday. Another one to add to the Pirates list of players that they screwed up when they had them, didn't play them, or they barely let them play, and they go somewhere else and they do well. Elias Diaz should be added to the list. He was a first-time All-Star at 32 years old, a catcher, the worst position on the Pirates for a number of years now.
Mm-hmm.
He was the All-Star Game MVP. What a nice car. He was our 5th catcher in 2017, and he was on the roster, like not the 40-man roster. He was on the 25-man roster, and there were 5 total catchers because they all stunk so stinking bad, and Elias Diaz was the 5th one. They let Eric Fryer and Eric Kratz and Chris Stewart and Francisco Cervelli play over him. Unstinking real. Never gave the kid a chance at all. And he goes to Colorado, and he's had the 2 best years that he's had in his freaking life.
Holy fuck.
He's got 11 home runs at catcher this year already, which is very good. He's one of the best power-hitting catchers in baseball. Sure, he plays in Colorado. The home runs are inflated because of the weather, whatever. Another one to the list. And if anybody has watched them over the last 5 to 7 years, I think it was pretty evident that Clint Hurdle or someone above Clint Hurdle mismanaged the guy. They never gave him a fair shot. There was plenty of guys that I felt that way with too. It's unfortunate. Very happy for him. Very, very happy for Elias Diaz, by the way. That's what I wanted to bring up. It's also great that I think the NL won the third All-Star game of our lives.
Yep.
The third All-Star game the NL has won in our lives. I mean,
First one since, what was it, 2012?
12? I mean, it's crazy.
Over a decade.
It's crazy, though. So I don't think there's any denying that the AL has more talent, but I think the NL has won a fair share of World Series with it. So it doesn't really matter if you have the best players. You got to have the best teams. In the NL, I will say this, too. The NL, I also felt like had an advantage until this double DH, until both leagues had it, because their pitchers hit, and they were used to that. And then when the AL had to hit, they weren't used to that. I know that's not that big of a deal, but like just for the AL pitcher to get a bunt down was a huge deal because they never had to hardly do it. They only played like 9 or 12 or 15 interleague games, and they may have started one of them. So they may not hit for forever. So just some of the stuff that I wanted to bring up. Elias Diaz, good for that guy. Stuck with it, got a chance in Colorado's, made the most of it. And a shout out to Vlad. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's also the first Rocky to win All-Star Game MVP. So a little milestone for the organization as well.
Right.
Anyway.
Just as you would expect Elias Diaz to be the first Rocky to win the All-Star Game MVP, just as we all booked on our sports betting apps. But that was my first pick. But also a shout out to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for winning the home run derby. Really, really awesome stuff. Him and his dad have each won one now. And hopefully this is a turn of the tables for Vladdy's season. He's kind of having a down year for him. Solid year for most people, but kind of a down year considering the output he's had in his career, which is unfair expectation because he's been so ridiculous. But I really hope that he kind of turns this around and gets hot and maybe finishes the year with 30-some-odd home runs because he's not really on pace for that right now. He's kind of on pace for 20-something, but hopefully this turns him around and he has a good year. And if he does, that gets Toronto right where they need to be because if he's hitting, they got enough guys around him that can surely hit too. And in the AL East, you got to get as many runs as you freaking can. That's a really, really tight race there for sure, especially in the middle. I know that the Rays are pretty good, although they slumped kind of before the All-Star break, but really, really tight division. So really interested to see how if that'll turn the tides for Vladdy for the rest of the year. But that's
also prayers up for that kid that got pegged by the 117-mile-per-hour line drive.
Right
in the right eye.
Yeah, you got a nice
old eye. Yeah,
holy
it's literally a baseball-sized shiner. Go ahead, search. Go ahead, search that, DB. It's awfully big. It's awfully big.
How the fuck did he lose his eye? Holy shit!
Well, how they have the kids out in the outfield during the Derby, and Vlad, he just nailed 117 miles an hour. Kid puts his gloves up. Kid put his glove up, missed it, and it hit him right in the eye, right in the right eye. And I saw it live. It was kind of sickening.
It's one of those ones too where it's not a bruise that's just like purple or black, just one color. It was like purple, black, yellow, gray, green. Like it was disgusting. And I wonder if that will ever change the minds of whoever lets kids out there to maybe not put kids out there. I've wondered that for years. Even when I was a little kid, I was like, I don't think I'd want to stand out there.
No.
It'd be so fun, but I don't know if it's worth it. I think I'd be eating a couple teeth, probably knock them right down my throat. If I get hit.
They can put some tall nets out there, couldn't they? You think?
They could do a lot of things, but MLB is kind of a slow adapter. If you haven't noticed that, Trevor, they take a little bit to act on it.
I know.
So we'll see if they. Maybe in 2025 announce that no kids will come out, and they'll say, because in 2023, Vladimir Guerrero almost took this kid's eye out of his face, out of his head, but it was literally 2 years before that. Why didn't you take it the next year? I don't know.
Because it's Manfred and the boys. It's Manfred and the boys.
Right.
And they watch baseball, so naturally they're a little slow.
Here's a fun fact about Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred and Pat Riley are from the same town in New York, Rome, New York, town of about 30,000. And they grew up in the same town. Now, they're not that close in age, I don't believe. I believe Pat's got him by about a decade or more, but very interesting that two of the most prominent guys in sports today grew up in the same town in rural, middle of nowhere, New York. In the theoretically kind of in the boonies of New York, because
Right.
a lot of New York is, that north part and stuff. But yeah, those guys are from, I believe, Rome, New York, if I'm not mistaken. They're from the same town. So bizarre.
Damn.
I was trying to figure out how the hell to get that. I got to figure that out for next time. But no, because I want to start playing some clips. I was trying to figure out how the hell to get that added on here so we can watch some fucking I'm sad for the kid. I'll figure it out.
I'll send it to our group chat later. Don't worry. I'll find it.
I don't know if I want to watch it again. That kid
It's the first time you watch it, it's kind of funny. The next time you watch it, you realize how fast that thing was and how much damage it did.
Right to the dome.
Yeah. I couldn't watch it again, but
yeah.
I don't know. If you really want to see it, Drew, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, I'll figure out how the hell to add it next time. But anyways, Trevor, what the hell what are the 7 things you want?
Yeah, no, I got you. You're all good, Nate? That was all you had?
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's all I had. Nothing too crazy.
Gotcha. Okay, so I did lie a little bit. We already kind of talked about one of these things, and we've talked about this at length. So I'll kind of narrow this down to 6 things. And this is just an article posted on MLB.com. They're, of course, the biggest headline out there right now in the MLB. Where the hell's Shohei going? Yeah. And we all have kind of expressed our opinions on that. So I will just kind of move on from that.
I thought he was going to the Mets.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Right. He'd be one pissed off man if he went to the Mets this year. Goodness gracious. Although if they traded all the crappy players that were supposed to be good for Shohei, and Shohei gets to configure the roster that he wants to be next year with all Steve Cohen's FU money, then maybe. Yep. But I doubt it.
I just want to get you fired up, Dave.
You almost did by saying Marc Gasol earlier. I didn't even have to bring it up this time.
That one.
Okay. I'll cut it off. I'll cut it off right there. There are 6 of these, so
take your time. Trevor, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll try to go a little bit faster here.
No, you're good.
Luis Arias of the Marlins. You might be on pace to hit 400. Do we think he gets there? No. He's in 383 right now. He's got a 434 on base percentage. He's already got 3 5-hit games this year as well.
I'll take under 350.
Wow.
Yep.
He regresses that much.
Yep.
All right. Again, not too knowledgeable. Trevor, I think 375. 375.
75?
It's safe.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't think
I wouldn't put that on FanDuel. I wouldn't bet that.
I don't know if you can. FanDuel, I'm not going to talk about FanDuel. They might see this and then they'll take the video down and I don't want that. I don't want that.
Sorry, they've been pissing me off.
I think he'll stay around the 380 mark, 375. I think that's fair. He might dip a little bit in, I don't know, maybe August or something, and then come back in September. We'll see. Okay. Ronald Acuna, will he be a member of the 40-40 club? 40 homers, 40 steals. He's already got the 40 steals for reference, and he has 21 homers right now. I mean, he's obviously on pace for it. I know the easy answer here, but thoughts?
Well, I'm going to say, why not? 19? You're already at 21. What are we again, boys? I might be. We're halfway through, basically.
Couple games over halfway through, yeah.
Okay, I 40-40. Yeah, I see him doing it. He's a special talent, I think. I mean, the little bit of highlights I've watched of him, the show, everybody uses him, pisses me the hell off. I don't want a long-winded answer. Nate, you go ahead, but I think he can do it.
I think he can do it, most definitely. Do I think he will? Man, I'll tell you what, he's going to make it close. It's going to be really tight. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say like 38 home runs. Something just
Ooh.
but I think he's going to
Yeah.
get 70 plus stolen bases.
I agree with half your answer, Nate. I think he's going to get the 70-plus steals. I'm going to say he gets 40, becomes the first 40-70 guy. I want to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean,
I want to see that happen.
I do from a pure baseball's perspective, but I hate that he's doing it for the Braves. I can't stand it.
Likewise, but
Right.
again, Braves are in big contention. We don't really have to.
Right.
Anyway,
Trevor,
They're on
scratch that just to be an asshole. 39.
just purely for being an asshole.
39. He hits a home run. It gets robbed, and he doesn't get
Last day.
As a pure Braves hater, that would be cinema. That
Yeah.
would be the Schindler's List of endings to a season.
Oh wow! Holy shit! All right.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Shout out Liam Neeson. Great actor. Okay, and third one down the list here. When is Judge coming back?
You know, he's become. I'm going to piss off Yankees fans, and they're going to say, "Well, DB, you got no fucking knowledge. Keep your mouth shut." He's becoming Trout. Like, can he fucking stay healthy a little bit? I mean, no offense, you pinstripe fans out there, but I mean, you know, I was a huge fan of Cheater. Cheater didn't miss a lot of games, right, Nate?
No.
So, you know, you're the superstar of the team. You're basically people come to the game to watch you. I mean, whatever. I mean, you keep fucking. I mean, what last year? What he was out how many games last year, Trevor? I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do we know?
Oh, that I do not know off the top of my head. It was
Because he missed a lot.
yeah.
last
No,
year, too.
I do recall him being injured for a good portion of the season. I don't remember the exact amount of games.
Fucking take care of yourself, you big son of a bitch. I mean, come on. What the hell?
I don't understand it. I don't know if it's just he's so large and so powerful that any like little tweaks, the tweaks are the ones that gets him. Like he's got a torn ligament in his toe. That's just such a weird.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's really oddly painful. I don't think I'd want to go through that.
Right.
He's hitting off a tee. He's not running at the moment. I think he'll come back in August. I think he'll come back in August. And I really, really, really am curious to see, I know this is off topic, how Sean Casey does as the Yankees' new hitting coach, because the Yankees cannot freaking hit for crap right now.
Yep.
And they weren't hitting with Judge in the lineup, let alone without him. You know, Josh Donaldson's hitting like a buck freaking 75 ever since he called Tim Anderson Jackie. He's completely disappeared. He has 14 hits this year, and 10 of them are home runs. It's the fewest hits to get 10 home runs in MLB history, which is crazy. And it's
He
like
actually has 15 hits, by the way. He got
whatever
another one.
crap it was. I mean, still, like that made much of a difference. You know, so the guy's terrible. Judge, you know, is really productive. It just sucks that, honestly, the way that the Yankees have gone the last 2 years, if Judge hits, they win. If Judge hits, they don't, which is so bad to put it on one guy because it's baseball. You fail 7 out of 10 times and you're successful in this sport.
Right.
So, like, you got to have Judge have a freaking MVP season to do anything. That's unrealistic. And certainly when you have an injury-prone guy, that doesn't help either. And I think he's always going to be that way. You know, he's been that way since he came up. Mike Trout was not that way when he came up. I don't know what. Trout's got like a degenerative back disorder. He broke his freaking wrist this time. I mean, like, weird stuff happens to that guy. So I love to see Judge on the field. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a great player. Nobody's really been like him in the history of baseball with his size, his power, his speed. So I'm hoping he'll get back in August, and we'll see how Sean Casey does with rejuvenizing this Yankees lineup because they can't hit for crap right now. Sorry to be long-winded, but there was a lot to cover there.
No, you're good. To back your point.
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
I think he's the modern-day Bill Jackson. Like, he's just too fucking powerful for his own good, Nate.
Yeah, and Trout's like that too. Trout's more compact.
Yes.
but
Yeah.
Judge is so large and so powerful that like little things like nag at him. I don't know how he tore a ligament in his toe. That's a weird one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he made that. He made that catch where he broke through the fence at Dodger Stadium.
is that how he tore a ligament in his toe?
Yeah, it was that catch when he did it.
Wow. I didn't know.
What?
Yeah,
It's so weird.
Yeah, that was on June 3rd. And to back your point, Nate, about them not being able to hit the ball, they're the third lowest scoring team in the MLB since that point.
Yep.
Only the Twins and the Royals are below them in runs scored since June 3rd.
And the Twins are winning the division. How?
I know.
How?
He's getting
I
fired
know.
up today, and I fucking love it.
It drives me crazy. It drives me nuts because the AL East 1 to 5 all have better records than the stinking AL Central. If you go in order, if you did the AL East and then the AL Central on the bottom of it, it would be 1 through 10, perfectly in order.
Hmm.
Not like any mix and match. Like the Twins are the third best record, and the freaking White Sox are the fifth best record, just for example. No, it's literally the AL East 1 through 5, and then AL Central 6 through 10, because the AL Central can't do anything.
Jesus.
For reference, Nate, the Guardians are actually leading that division by a half a game right now.
Okay, now they are. Well, it's about time because they do this every year.
It's about stinking time.
They flirt around and they hang in there, and then they get hot in the middle of the summer, and then they do nothing in the playoffs again. They do it all the time because Tino's a great manager, but they don't have enough talent and money to make it work.
All right. Jesus.
Can I move on, or do we have another rant in us? Nate?
No, go ahead. I'll keep going. Go on.
No. I'll try and get through all our headlines here.
No, take your time, Trevor. You're good.
Yeah.
Will the Reds keep cruising? This article says, meaning will they keep this breakneck pace and win the division in the NL Central? I mean, Ellie De La Cruz, he's a spectacular athlete. I know he stole first, home, and third, or second, third, and home in a game a couple weeks back, which I'd never seen that in my life.
Yeah, not just in the game,
he's-
but in a row.
Yeah, in a row, right? In a row. Stole second, stole third, then stole home. And, he's hitting for cycles. He's doing all this other stuff. Can he keep up this breakneck pace? And can the Reds keep up this breakneck pace?
I freaking hope not.
Well,
I think they choke, Trevor.
I agree with you, Drew. I'll tell you why. I think the Reds have too many rookie players on their team, and I think the All-Star break came at the wrong time for them. I think they're going to start slow out of the break, and I think Brewers are going to sneak in and win that right at the end. I think they have better pitching, and I think that hopefully they took the All-Star break to figure these Reds out, but they're entertaining right now. They're scoring a lot of runs, they're stealing bases, they're young, and nobody was picking the freaking Reds to do anything. I mean, people were picking the Reds behind the Pirates. Some people were. I wouldn't have done that, but goodness gracious, it's pretty impressive to see all these rookies panning out and working out for them. So I'll say no. I'll say the Brewers will sneak and win that division.
Yeah. Got you. Okay, so Mets, Padres, and Cardinals. All three have been pretty big disappointments this year. Probably the Mets chief among them. Cardinals, maybe not as much, just because they have a lot of aging guys. They don't really have a good balance of the talent with them right now. And then the Padres are being the Padres right now. What's next for these guys? They make some moves at the deadline. They selling, they buying.
The Cardinals are selling. For
Yes.
sure. Their GM said today
I agree with that.
selling. The Mets,
I missed that, actually.
I think the Mets will also sell.
Yeah, they're fucked.
They will just sell as much as they can and try to regroup and spend a boatload of money again next year. I think Danny Burgers is gone. I think Marte is gone. I think Scherzer could very well be gone. So we'll see what happens, but they're going to be sellers too. The Padres, I think they'll just do nothing. I think they'll just exist. They might do like these relief pitcher swaps and like let random players go like Nelson Cruz and stuff, but they'll just like linger around and win like 70 games and be super disappointing for no freaking reason, but other than they're the Padres. Like
they're very quiet every year, Nate. Right? I mean, in the season,
they had a great offseason on paper.
Right.
You know, they picked up guys. They got rid of some of the guys that I think wanted too much money from them. They signed Cruz, who was a great veteran bat, good leader in the clubhouse. I know he's 43. But, you know, that was a good move, you'd think. They got Tatis Jr. back in the middle of the year, who's actually having a good year.
Yep. But
just isn't – they got 4 studs in their rotation. You know, Snell is pitching his butt off, but they can't freaking score any runs for him when he pitches.
I enjoy him.
So, goodness gracious, I don't understand it. I cannot figure out why they stink. It makes no sense. I don't know. I think they just hang on to what they got, maybe move a couple little things, relief pitchers and old veterans, and then they just run it back next year. And they honestly could just run it back, and they might have a different result. I really believe that team's talented enough to just like, if we get off to a good start, we're going to be in better shape. They just got off to like a kind of like a bad start, had a bad slump to start, and then it doesn't help that the Diamondbacks are so freaking ridiculously stupid good that it makes no sense. And then the Giants win 10 in a row earlier in the year.
That Diamondbacks pitcher started the All-Star game for them. For the NL.
And then Corbin Carroll, who the crap came out of nowhere. I mean, and he's having one of the best seasons of all time. So that doesn't help. And you got 2 teams that you thought would be crap that were really good now. And the fact that the Dodgers are in 3rd place in that division after they spend the 2nd most money in the league is just outrageous.
Mm-hmm.
It's outrageous. So I'll say the Padres do nothing. They'll just sit around, do nothing.
I was going to say the Mets and the Padres coming into this season on paper, they were World Series favorites.
Yeah,
they were right up there.
Stinking thing.
Yeah.
We got a comment in here real quick, Trevor. Nick,
Sure.
I appreciate the comment. Mickness, am I pronouncing his name right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he's happy to see Pittsburgh got him. He's a good culture guy, super talented, and God's good. So, I mean, I agree with him. Is that the fucking kid that he doubled?
Read this comment again, because I don't know if I'm not sure if this is what's being talked about. But there was a individual from DuBois, Jake Mickness.
Mickness, that's who he's
drafted by the Pirates out of Kent State, the second time he's been drafted. So, you know, very, very happy for that young man. He comes from, you know, his older brother was a great baseball player that I had the opportunity to play against as well. Played at St. Bonaventure for 3 years.
Oh, okay, I know who. Okay, yeah.
Or sorry. I get him screwed up. Was it Justin was drafted, I believe, and Jake is who I played against. So sorry, Mickness brothers. I always get your names screwed up. You both start with J's. Both of you are really good ball players in your own right. But I believe Justin's the one that got drafted 2nd time now, and got drafted to be a catcher in the Pirates organization. I goodness to hope that it works out. The Pirates with catchers don't. I hope they trade him to somebody else so he can actually pan out for somebody else. But no, it's pretty cool to be drafted by the hometown team. Good for that kid. Worked very hard. 1,000-point scorer at DuBois Central Catholic and high school basketball, 4-year starter for the Cardinals as well. So that'll get lost in the shuffle. Glad to mention that as well. But really happy for that kid. So congrats to the Mickens to Justin. So good for them.
Sorry, Trevor. Keep going, buddy.
Last one here. Trade deadline coming up, you know, faster than we realize. Other than perhaps the Ohtani deal, what do we think will be the biggest move that'll come out of this trade deadline? Some of the names out there, just to give you guys some starting points, perhaps. Marcus Stroman, Shane Bieber, Jordan Montgomery's out there, Lance Lynn, Eduardo Rodriguez, Paul Goldschmidt, Arenado, and Juan Soto. Potential names that might be available.
That's a loaded fucking group right there. I'm high on Marcus Stroman. I really like him. I don't know. In the show I do,
Yeah, in the show he's unstoppable. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
and Paul Goldschmidt, he's a dog as well.
Yes, yeah.
you'd say
He has that all red strike zone. Goldschmidt does. So
Yeah.
wherever you throw the ball, he's gonna whack
Hell
it somewhere. But anyway,
Yeah, no, Nate.
what was your
actually,
question there, Drew?
No, I was just saying, Nate, actually give some actual knowledge because I'm just basing this off of me playing the show. Okay, so
No.
all my knowledge comes from the fucking video.
It all goes back to video games, DB, doesn't it? It all goes back to video games.
It does. It does.
Wow. I'll tell you what, if the Padres traded Juan Soto, that'd be freaking weird.
Yeah,
After they just traded for him. They just traded for the
Right.
guy. Unreal. I think
Yep.
one guy you didn't mention that has had a pretty solid start to his career that honestly I think they're going to take calls for is Pete Alonso. I really think they're going to take calls for him. He hits a crap ton of home runs. He's only batting 210 though. I know that these power hitters that mash like he doesn't grow on trees, but Steve Cohen's money grows on trees, so they could just buy
Yes.
somebody else to possibly replace him if they get a certain return for him. So I don't know. That's one guy you didn't mention that I'd kind of be intrigued to think about. I think that'd be the other Mets player that I didn't previously mention that
Yeah.
maybe they'll trade. But I think Starling Marte's a goner. I think he's definitely gone. Danny Burgers, I think, is a goner. And I hope that Buck Showalter is a goner too because he can't manage them for crap. They've blown so many leads.
Yeah.
They've blown so many freaking leads. The fact of the matter is the Oakland Athletics had more wins in June than the Mets. And the Oakland A's are trying to lose. The Mets are trying to win. The Mets blew so many
Sad.
2-run leads in June. It was comical. I don't understand it. But the Cardinals, oh man, if they trade, it would be it's so weird to see the Cardinals suck. Like I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to trade people, but are they going to trade Goldschmidt and Arenado? Unreal. If they do, that'd be crazy. I'd love to see that because the Cardinals would actually suck for the first time in our entire lives. That'd be great.
They almost kind of have to trade some prominent big names, right? They're going to have to get some prospects back. And it's weird to say this about the Cardinals. Like you said, they might have to rebuild a little bit.
Hey, I'm fine with that. And it's great.
Yeah, likewise. I'm very okay with that.
It's great to see these random prospects that always they pull out of their rear end that don't work out for once.
Yeah.
And we already knew Yadier was a gem behind the plate. And we thought Wilson Contreras was pretty stinking good to fill in. He's been the scapegoat of this thing, and you and I talked about this. Not fair to him. Wasn't just him. You got Adam stinking Wainwright at 41 being your ace. The dude can't throw faster than like 85 miles an hour right now.
Yeah.
I understand you're loyal, but like the Cardinals should have said, can you just retire with Albert and him, and let's just get this over with right now.
You got this situation too. You're probably, I would say, you're going from the greatest catcher of our generation, to Contreras. And of course, big shoes to fill. You're not gonna be able to fill those shoes,
right? No matter who you put in there, they're not filling it.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
Nobody could run on Molina, and for a catcher, he could mash. He could do pretty well in the box.
And the other thing about it is they overachieved last year. If you remember, they got hot as crap in August and September, and they snuck in the playoffs. And I looked at that roster, and I said, this team is not good, but somehow they're winning. And they got in the playoffs, and the Phillies, I think, took them out right off the bat. And the Phillies went all the way to the World Series.
Yep.
The Cardinals peaked too early last year. They lost their glue guys in Albert and Yadier. And Albert had an unreal year out of freaking thin air. Before that. And then all of a sudden he hits like 25 bombs and gets to 700 out of stinking nowhere.
Insane.
They overachieved.
I forgot he actually got the 700.
Yeah.
I forgot that for a second.
So when you lose those guys in that production and you don't get anybody else to step up, That's hard to replace. And then Arenado's always has a good year, but Goldschmidt had an MVP year, so pretty hard to replicate that when really they didn't do anything except lose. They lost their All-Star Hall of Fame catcher for an All-Star catcher and lost one of the greatest baseball players in the history of the game at first base and DH.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be weird if they trade those guys, man. I'm more than happy to see them stink. I love it. I personally love it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that'll definitely be the marquee moves of this trade deadline coming out of the St. Louis Cardinals organization. I'm a miss. I hope that guy on TikTok, his name escapes me now, but I hope he keeps doing the Danny Burger stuff. I hope.
He will. That's
hilarious.
That's transcendent. It doesn't matter if he's just with the Mets.
No, I think the reason that I think the guy's from New York. I think he's why he's doing it. But wherever he goes, whether it's West Coast, East Coast, whatever, I hope he keeps doing Danny Burgers.
Right.
It's got unlimited Shake Shack on the line if he hits a home run.
Runs about a 4.2 40.
Yeah. Floats like a butterfly, stings like a bee.
Oh, jeez. Goodbye. Those are the best. It's like 4 homers, and he's literally done voiceovers on all his home runs.
To the moon. Great stuff. Great stuff. That's all I had. Those were the
good list to end there, though, Trevor.
7 insert in parentheses 6 second half storylines to keep your eyes on this.
Heck yeah.
Second half of the MLB season. And hopefully, of course, our Pirates can actually keep up some winning and maybe keep us interested for a little bit. But like I said, if not, football's in. Oh, I almost forgot. I got to do my post for today. It's Lamar Woodley. We are Lamar Woodley days away from football. Away from the first Thursday night game of the regular season.
Hell yeah. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be electric. Boys. So. It's going to be electric. It's going to be electric as all hell. I am very excited. I mean, when we go to that preseason game, I'm going to absolutely lose my fucking mind. I'm just going to be honest with you. So
I saw those tickets. Those are like, what, $20 you can go to that game for?
Well, we're kind of closer to the field, but I think, they weren't bad. And I was like, and then I'm like, oh, but this isn't bad. I'll look at the regular season. No, we won't be. I will not get the same seat in the regular season.
No. Tenfold the price.
Oh my God. No, I got to see here. When's the? What time's the first game at? Shit.
Oh, first regular season game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's that Thursday nighter that opens it up.
Oh, okay. Oh, Pitt's.
I think it's what is it? Eagles, Bills, something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say that Monday night game they have against the Browns. We could maybe do a live stream. We could figure that out. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah,
you guys can. Everybody can. We'll put it on the side there.
I don't know if I want people to
get the sensor ready.
I don't know.
I think it'd be fun.
I don't know if I'm ready to let the world see me watch.
Well, you could do a laid back. We could do a laid back show. I know we're still live. I don't really give a shit. We could
real quick, Drew.
Yeah.
Real quick. Sorry, I misquoted. The first game of the season is actually Detroit versus Kansas City, which could be very intriguing if you ask me.
Right.
But anyway, continue live stream. Potentially, we need a beeper.
I think we should have us sitting in our living rooms, just like a casual, like you're actually watching the game. But then we just have the carnage. That it could be we could be cheering or we could be bitching at the screen. I think it'd be beneficial. But we could add a bleeper if you guys want me to. I think that would be entertaining as shit.
Well, if our audience thinks we're lunatics now, just
I'm flipping off the camera. I got a black bar that comes up.
That's why I don't want to do it. I'd like to just keep
blur them out.
I'd like to keep my own Steelers watch party to myself and a few select others that know how crazy that I get. So I think I've turned down that opportunity as much.
All right. Think on it. We'll see what happens. But no, Trevor, anything else? Nate, anything else?
I'd just like to give a shout out to Christy Haynes Lewis one more time.
Yeah.
Thank you for sponsoring this. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. Hopefully she listened to at least some of this and could withstand some of it.
Right.
She's just a great community member, great business owner, great person. And also she was a phenomenal athlete when she was in college and high school. 3-sport college athlete, very, very impressive golfer, softball player, basketball player. One of the smoothest 3-point jumpers I've seen come out of Elk County ever. She's electric with that jumper. She's so talented and but a better person. So really thankful that she sponsored the show and just wanted her to know that. And hopefully she'll see this too.
Yeah. We'll make it a promo, Nate. That was a beautiful. No. And as well, I want to thank Christy for, sponsoring the show. We do have a giveaway as well. We might see Christy's business here down the road, or we'll see where it takes us. But it was an honor and a privilege to have her sponsor and do that little advertisement. If you guys haven't seen it or haven't been to her beautiful business out there, go ahead out there. Everybody's car needs detailing and service on their car, especially mine. Hope maybe someday we could work out a deal that I get a detail because I could really fucking use it. But no, it was just cool to hear like all the stuff she does out there in the system. So I really appreciate her, and I appreciate you guys coming on almost every week here. Hopefully next week we can do another beautiful episode. We'll have guests coming on here shortly too, but that'll be released at another time. But if there's nothing else, guys, I'll sign us off here. This is another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys with your host Drew Billy, Nate Stice, and Trevor Dinsmore. It's a goddamn pleasure as always. Stay safe out there. God bless. Have a good day. Have a good night. And all gas, no brakes. And if you need your car cleaned or detailed, head out to Christy Crystal Clean Cars. All right. Have a good night. Thank you. Oh boy. Oh, hold on a minute. I do it every time.